It's time to talk about the other comic book company, DC, who has been rivaling Marvel ever since superheroes were first introduced to the medium. So, DC hasn't had the best record of making superhero movies, but when they make really good superhero movies, they really show. So today, we're not going to look at the bad side of DC, since we already know what the worst. So let's look back at the times they did succeed with the top 3 best DC movies all time. Keep in mind, these are not DC movies like as a whole. We do a separate list on the DC movies that are just standalone movies. But these are the DCEU movies. So let's talk about the best DCEU movies. These are movies that have to take place in the DCEU. They cannot be standalone movies. So Superman the movie and the Teen Titans Go movie will not count, will not be on the list. They'll have a separate list. So let's get into it. And as always, if you don't like these movies, that is totally fine. It's just an opinion. Anyway. Number 3. Suicide Squad. I don't know why people hate this movie. It's got relatable, likable characters, even though they're antagonists. And I was actually engaged in Harley and Joker's relationship. Sure, it's not the best story, and didn't really like the Warden, but it's still a great team-up movie, and certainly one of the gems in DC. Also, the best character is Will Smith's character. You can totally sympathize with him as he wants to get back to his daughter. It's actually a very cute plot. Totally sympathize with him as a character as he just wants to get back to his daughter. That's very cute. And also, a lot of the other side characters are really cool. The Joker is really creepy as heck. And that's actually a huge prop for this movie. The Enchantress is a badass villain. Definitely recommend Suicide Squad. And for number 2, Wonder Woman. This is a beautiful origin story to one of the best DC characters, and one of the most famous. And Gal Gadot was the perfect choice for this role. She is freaking hot. And Wonder Woman is a badass hero. She uses her bracelets to disintegrate bullets and uses it to kick some ass. I mean, pardon my language, but there's no other way to describe it. Wonder Woman is epic and a very engaging blast from beginning to end. The story is awesome and the CG is incredible. DC really upped their game for this movie, and it really shows. And Steve Trevor is a really endearing heroic character too. I definitely recommend Wonder Woman for any fans of the character or any fans of DC in general. And a lot of the side characters are really sweet and endearing. And the kingdom of Themyscira, where Wonder Woman comes from, is a very enchanting place. It's, above all, it's a very cool movie, and it was everything that Captain Marvel should have been. DC, you've done good. This time you show Marvel how to make a good woman superhero movie. And I can't wait for the sequel next year. Before we get to number 1, just one quick honorable mention. Shazam! I'm sorry, I wanted to like this movie, I really did, but just couldn't get into it. The main character is kind of boring, and it's just not as grand and epic as some of DC's other offerings. However, if you like this movie, that's fine. Honestly, I was really disappointed and let down by it. And without a doubt, the number 1 best DC movie is Aquaman. There was no other choice. Aquaman is a visual, stunning masterpiece that should be praised for years to come. The ocean is one of the best places. Like, I've always just found so much fantasy in underwater life. And this movie delivers on so much. The CG, the world of Atlantis itself is so creative and beautiful to look at. All of the vehicles are original and very cleverly designed as fish. Main character Arthur is both heroic, charming, and funny. They couldn't have picked a better actor than Jason Momoa to play him. And the world is so immersive. You just get so immersed in that underwater atmosphere that it's just so... can't even describe it. So this is one of the greatest examples of a superhero movie done right. It's a beautiful, atmospheric, immersive, epic masterpiece that simply needs to be adored for years to come. I personally consider Aquaman the absolute best DCEU movie of all time. This is a great example of what DC can do if they put their minds to it. And someday, I hope that they can be in fierce competition with Marvel once again. This is as good as any Marvel movie. Go check this out. It's epic, it's beautiful, and it's immersive.